Sorry. I didn't know there was zero music. I forgot. I didn't have my headphones on. Yes, I did hear you. You little shits. Hello. I have returned. Sorry. Of course, I immediately had to go off screen to like turn my to close the door. Okay, we have a little over 2 hours today. Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys, my friends? Oh, shoot, I need to post on Twitter. Also because like because okay, Twitch was telling me that like, oh, you have all of these like hours of 35% off gifted subs, like this promotion that are gonna expire at the end of the year, so you might as well use them. And I was like, fine. So I'm just gonna randomly use them whenever I remember, and if there's like any important streams, but I don't think there's like that many important streams happening between now and the end of December. Like so many, right? Because I can do it like 6 more times. I don't think I'm gonna have 6 more streams, so I did it today. Enjoy. The last time I did it was for like my for debut, so it's been a while. Hi. Let me look at my chat. Look at my chatty matty. We're going wee. Okay, great. Love that. There's no music. Back to bed. Okay, bye, Seek. Also, you got the wrong tags unless you're playing Hades. What the fuck? You guys don't understand. I changed it to just chatting like 4 times. What is this? I've changed it to just chatting 4 times today, just in case, because it keeps doing that. Every time I open stream, it says it's fucking Hades. I love Hades. I'm not playing Hades. And okay, it's just chatting for me. Thank God. Did it say that in the Discord again? Did it say that in the Discord again? Let me check the Discord. It does! It updated the title, but not the... I'm going to crash out. Why is it doing this? Is it Restream? Do I need to kill Restream? Do I need to go to Restream.io and, like, murder their servers? Like, what the frick? What the heck? I changed it in every place that it could be changed, and somehow, and it presented itself properly and was like, this is the thing, we're going to show people that you're doing just chatting. Because for the past, like, week, every time I start stream, Twitch is like, you're playing Hades. And I'm like, no, stop gaslighting me. Stop gaslighting me. I literally just changed it to just chatting just in case, because I knew that this was gonna happen. And then I double checked and I changed it again just in case. And then it changed it back. I don't know what's happening. How is it doing that? Why is it doing that? It's either Twitch or it's Restream or it's both. Everyone hates me. Everyone hates me. Nobody loves me. Nobody wants me to have success. Or God just wants me to play freaking, God wants me to play Hades and not do the things I want to do, apparently. I want to play Hades. God is like, You need to finish this game. Start playing Hades 2 already. Wow, 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 wow. Thank you for the first time chat. Is that an accurate number of wahs? Wah, 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 wah. Thank you for the first time chat. Welcome. Psychiatrist sounds too much effort. It is too much effort. Don't become a doctor. I am a doctor. I did too many years of school for it. I'm not saying that doctors don't need that kind of education. They definitely do, but it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot, and I don't know that the calculus is worth it for most people. Morning, whatever time it is, Dr. Lev. Hi, Spectra! You can also weigh in on this. Is medical school worth it? You're, like, abroad, though. Okay, abroad relative to where I am. And, like, it's different, because you guys don't have to do college. Though your med school is, like, longer, I believe. Don't be a doctor, you end up with over 100K debt. Think more like $1 million, like $500,000 of debt. Or some people I know have gone up to like $850,000 of debt. Or close to $1 million of debt. Like, it depends. But like, there are people who went to like private schools and then to expensive like medical schools and lived in expensive places. And it's just, depends on the specialty. Yeah, it does. Depends on the specialty. I mean, plus minus, it depends on where you are. Depends on where you trained. Elena Akbar, hello! I'm back. Also, why are we talking about debt? We're talking about debt because I'm a doctor and doctors accumulate a lot of debt. They accumulate a lot of debt in order to become doctors. My med school abroad, though, is like 9K USD a year. Yeah, that's like 9K USD a year is less than undergrad in the United States. Like, I think cheap undergraduate tuition is like, what? It would be what, like $15,000 a quarter? A semester? Lev, psychology question. Can eating disorders be caused by trauma? Simply put, yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think about it like, gang, I don't know why my full name be here. I feel so old. I don't know either. I'm sorry. Do you just want to be Alina? Also, is Akbar your like last name? That's an uncommon last name, I believe. Anyways, eating disorders. Eating disorders can be caused by trauma because eating disorders is like, you can think about it a couple different ways. I think for different people, it's different. It's rooted in different things. But commonly, eating disorders are rooted in like control, like wanting to have control, right? Because like it's like I can't control other things about my life, so maybe I can control myself and control my body and control what I eat, right? And then there's of course the body dysmorphia aspect of it, which can happen for a variety of different reasons and could be a reflection of like a larger sort of like self-loathing thing going on. And then the other part of eating disorders is that you can think of it as almost like self-harm also. So there's a lot of different aspects to eating disorders that can be worsened by or caused by trauma. So yeah. Step 1 first aid probably goes into it deeper. Yeah, probably. Eating disorders are really, really hard to treat. They're really, really tough. Callie Byrne, I am back, yo. Hi, welcome back. How is your, I saw you're doing, what's it called? Partner push marathon, YouTube marathon thing. How is that going? I hope it's going well for you. I haven't been able to catch very much of it just because I don't have very much free time. If I have free time, I'm here being an anime girl. But, yeah. Why is everyone in like student debt? Doesn't the government pay for it? The government does not pay for any learning in America. The government doesn't pay for anyone's education in America. The government does give subsidized student loans, which you will then have to pay back. Oh yeah, we have a lot of debt. Everyone I know is in debt, including myself. We don't have to talk about it. Oh, with interest. That's the worst part. Yeah. It has gotten worse in recent years. Well, because the thing is that, again, a lot of things are motivated by short-term profit motive, right? And if you know that, like, ultimately it's not like a school or whatever thing is making money. Like, if they know that, like, oh, you have the way to give me money, but it'll just be borrowed money, then just give me the money and then I'll have the money, and then the problem of getting the money from whoever you loaned it from is like your problem now. So it's really it's really unfortunate. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Eh? Oh, I was mentioned in someone else's stream, apparently. Huh? I just got a notification from Twitch. Anyways, yeah, it reminds me kind of like, it's like the educational version of like, what's it called? Like, pay it later of a firm. In the UK, yeah, well, it's because Europe has many things that are better than what we do here. Interest pisses me off the most, low-key. I will pay it off when I'm out of school. Come on. I mean, yeah, like deferred interest, I think just should be basic, especially if you're being a full-time student, you know? British and built different. Going well, thanks for asking. I've been drawing emotes and such. Okay, I was like, your emotes are good though. They don't suck. Yes, yes. Oh, I saw some of them because I saw you posted them. They're really cute. Number must go up or we all die. Indeed. Number go up. Someone mentioned something. Oh, Constellation Cygnus. Do you want to be called Constellation or Cygnus or both? You're a psychiatrist. Well, darn. Hope all is well, by the way. I am good. Thank you. And I am a psychiatrist. It's a lot of fun. I love my job. But yeah. Oh, people diagnosed with ASPD, which, just to be clear, is I'm assuming you mean antisocial personality disorder. Not to be confused with ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder, which is totally different, weren't culled down to positions worthy of their inhumanity, and instead they were allowed to establish systems to turn the majority into cattle. I mean, I don't necessarily agree that people with personality disorders, I mean, okay, antisocial people is a particular type of person. And I will say, it's hard, right? Because like kind of by definition, the only people who are like antisocial that I will ever meet are people who are like very problematic for others. There's probably plenty of like low-laying like people with antisocial traits, or there definitely are people with antisocial traits who are just like fine, flying under the radar. So, and I don't think anyone is inhuman. I mentioned to you when I got a psych question on Amboss, and I was like, where's Lev when I need her? It's like, bat signal. Lev! Lev, I need help! Cygnus. I'm glad you like my emotes. I'm learning digital this way. Dude, digital art is so hard. I don't understand it. Digital art is so hard. I need to learn. Also, thank you, Lev, for keeping us sane. I'm doing my best. I think that's a bit extreme sig, low-key. A little bit. I mean, I think it's understandable to be really angry at like the changes that people with power who maybe shouldn't have power have made. And that sometimes it feels as though people who are in power do not care about us when they should. But humans are humans, you know? I'm antisocial. Wait, okay. This is an important point. Antisocial is like different in psychiatry compared to like antisocial colloquially, you know? Antisocial colloquially means like introverted. Antisocial in like psychiatry means like sociopath, psychopath, which are not terms that we use. We don't call people we don't like diagnose anyone with sociopathy or psychopathy anymore. It's not a diagnosis. but we do say that, like, oh, someone could have antisocial personality disorder, and they're the kind of person that's like doesn't really have regard for other people, doesn't seem to care about the rights of other people, the well-being of other people. It's not just like selfishness. It's like it's not I care more about myself than others. It's like an inability to kind of even have the regard for others in the first place. Yeah. What about psychosis? This is the other thing. Psychopathy and psychosis are two very different things, which is why I think maybe it's good that we don't use the term psychopath anymore, because like they sound similar. So psychopath is like, this person doesn't have empathy or sympathy and doesn't care about other people. Psychosis is like someone who's out of touch with reality or unable to reality test. Like they are hallucinating, they're hearing things, they have delusions, they're paranoid, and that's part of like schizophrenia, which is totally different. And they usually are like, they usually have a lot of difficulty taking care of themselves. They usually aren't hurting other people. So yeah. Digital art is so difficult. So we're having like 4 different conversations. Digital art is really difficult. I get confused by it all of the time. People with that group of disorders are still, people. Yeah, that's what I think. Like ultimately, it's what who was it saying? I think Bonehead said it. No, not Boogie You said it, of like all of the data we have of people who are antisocial are people who are like in jail or in prison. So sorry, not you, Bonehead. See, people with antisocial traits, it's my natural enemies. Have I dealt with them? It's hard to remove the general prejudice I've formed as a result. I mean, that's totally understandable, right? Like, I think that if you've been treated as inhuman by people, then it's natural to want to treat them as inhuman as well. I think that's normal. But that doesn't mean that we should necessarily act on those things. Like, this is something that I talk about a lot at work, or like with coworkers, and also like think about myself. I think a lot about like, a lot of emotions are normal, but then you don't necessarily have to act on those emotions, Like, there are times when something makes me so angry, but like, it doesn't mean that I have to act on it, right? Like, there's people that I've met in my life, not like people that I work with necessarily, because I like everyone that I work with, but there's people that I met that like you have to continue to talk to who I don't really like. But like, that's fine. We can still work together. I can still talk to them, Guys, I think she's talking about us. No! No. Oh, but that is a good point though. Like on social media, you will see people say things and you'll be like, I don't get that. And I don't like that. But like, whatever. Like, that doesn't mean I'm going to never talk to you again. Or that I can't be friendly, or that I think you're a horrible person. Like, there's things. This is why I'm interested in reading Am I the Asshole? Because I don't usually read this subreddit, but I hear a lot of people do. So I'm curious. Do you play Roblox? I do not play Roblox. I'm sorry. I've never played Roblox, but also I've never played most games. I played Minecraft for the first time last month. I died a lot. Lev, question. Yes. Like in a therapy-ish setting, how do you mitigate transference and counter-transference? Oh, this is a fun topic. Gotta pay respect to her. She got kicked out of question to keep us sane. I know. I got kicked out of question. They're like, guys, Lev, they need you. Am I the Asshole Wild subreddit? Were you able to keep a sense of positivity after your excursion there? I mean, I think it's fun. Oh, thank you for following, Cygnus. What was I going to say? We were going to talk about transference and countertransference. Yay, we reached our follower goal of 380. Yay! Twitch celebrates for me every 10 followers. It's very encouraging for me. I'm like a child. I'm like, yay, 10 more followers. Yay! Also, Bonehead, I did see your message about clipping. Thank you so much. I saw some of the clips that came up in my Streamladder, and so I'm gonna try to edit them and post them. Thank you so much. Okay. Spectral asked a question about managing transference and countertransference in like therapy. So to define terms, basically, transference and countertransference is the idea that like when two people talk, right? Like when two people, and this is specifically in like a therapy setting, but like when a therapist and a client are interacting, both of them are going to be bringing into it like their past experiences and their past relationships, you know? And that it's not the origin of the term, but it's helpful to think about it this way, that can like transfer onto the person that they're with. So transference is from the patient client to the therapist, and then countertransference is the opposite, from the therapist to the patient. And so like as an example, like the very classic one is like someone has, I'm gonna use like really stereotypical examples just to make the point. Not that this is necessarily true of everyone, but like let's say someone has bad issues with authority because every single authority figure in their life has never listened to them, or has never given them a chance to explain themselves, or always seems to assume the worst of them, right? And the thing is with these experiences, the more you have that experience, kind of the more that you expect that will be the case. So the more you will see it, even if it's not 100% there, or like not there in the way that you're used to seeing it, right? So like it'll become, they'll transfer that relationship or dynamic into the dynamic with their therapist, right? Like if you always expect someone to be thinking that what you're saying is stupid, the therapist sitting there, maybe not saying anything or just nodding, you'll be like, oh, the therapist like thinks I'm such an idiot, right? Or you might bring in some of the feelings that you would have with other authority figures in your life of like, oh, do I tell my therapist this? Because like, what if they think I'm stupid, right? And it feels like legit, like it's not conscious necessarily. Most of the time, most of us, we do this all the time with everyone in our lives, and we're like not self-conscious about it. We'll be like, this just feels like a normal thought, right? But then like it feels like a normal thought, and it feels like a real perception of what's going on right now, but it's not, right? Like it's not 100% real. It's, some of it is like tinged by your past experiences. Anyway, so that's that. And then countertransference is like the same thing. The classic example there is like, oh, the patient reminds you of your mom, or the patient reminds you of your kid, right? Like, let's say you are a parent and you just yelled at your kid because they broke the computer, and then you talk to your patient and they also just yelled at their kid because they threw something away they shouldn't have thrown away. And then your emotions get tied up in it, and then it's like hard, right? So how do you deal with transference and countertransference? There's two things. One is being aware of it and knowing that it happens and that it's not a bad thing, right? Because it's actually like can be very helpful in therapy. So like this isn't one type of therapy, it's not all types of therapy, but one type of therapy is focused on like kind of corrective experiences is what we call it, right? Where like, let's say someone has never felt as though they've had a good, like I was saying, never had a good experience with an authority figure, right? And because of that, they sort of assume that every person they see as an authority thinks they're stupid. And so they never tell anyone anything, right? They're like, I'm never going to tell people what I think. I'm never going to tell them what I'm ashamed of or whatever, because they're going to think that I'm stupid. Because every time that I've done that, someone has thought that I'm stupid. And then the idea is that you bring that in, and then they maybe reveal something to the therapist that they are expecting them to react one way, but then the therapist reacts another way, and then they're like, oh, not everyone is going to be this way, is the idea. Like, emotionally it feels like that. But, you know, it's hard. And then countertransferences, again, you have to manage it, you know. It's important to know, this is why therapists themselves are often expected, or traditionally are required to. I don't think it's as much of a requirement now, but we're like expected to go to therapy ourselves. So like, because it's important to be self-aware and to like know what your own tendencies are, you know. Lev, I gotta go pookie because I have 3 exams tomorrow. Oh my god, good luck. I'm gonna see you sing tomorrow. Bye. Okay, bye. I will try to be on time tomorrow. We'll see. Lev is too brainy. Lev's example is too brainy. Look, I'm sorry. It's just how I am, okay? And my doctor told me before he thought I was like a son to him. Yeah, exactly. Like, you'll see other people in your life, in the people around you. Like, that's just normal. You know? Have you ever seen the music video for Aesop Rock's Shrunk? Huh. I have not, but I will put it on my list. Maybe I'll react to it. Oh wait, Alina, wait, I didn't answer your question. What does dyslexia mean? Dyslexia is basically that like words don't, the letters in words, like it's hard to read, basically. It's like it's a reading delay, usually. Yeah. Say it very seriously. I think it'd be funny. I would love your reaction to Shrunk. Ooh, okay. I will put it on the list. Okay. All right, Kimi. Kimi has the thing Lev just did. Your brain does, but when reading words. Yes, thank you. Exactly. Your brain goes, yeah. And then it's like, what is this? How long is the list? It's a metaphorical list. So it's like the list in the way that Captain America has a list of media things he needs to catch up on. So it's not like a strict length. It's a when we get to it situation. I should probably write it down though. Aesop Rock's Struck. Okay, let me put it, you know? It's not a karaoke request, but I'm gonna put it in the karaoke request. So never, Rose, don't call me out like that. Look, I'm just not very organized as a person. Okay, I'm doing my best. Oh dear, ads. Oh no! Quick. See, this is why the gifteds are 35% off. Look, okay, I also don't like ads. Also, I didn't know if this would be helpful, but I dropped like the quick amboss definitions of stuff into the general. Oh, thank you, Spectral! Thank you! No, that is definitely helpful. Thank you! And Kimi, I will do Kimi's thing after after the ads. So like the thing with ads is that like I have them on the lowest amount that basically stops pre-rolls from happening because I don't want to do pre-roll ads. Zanza, hi! Oh, you got a Wingstop ad? I want wings now. There's a really good wings place close to where I work. I'm kind of curious, does your expertise in psychiatry assist you in your daily life? And if so, how? That is a good question. I'm going to click on it and highlight it so I don't forget to answer it while I do a very unserious, off-topic streamer thing, which is Kimi requested. Kimi requested Ara, but like say it very seriously because I think it'd be funnier. Okay. Ara. Is that serious? I don't know. There you go. Is that what you wanted? Is that what you wanted? Complete. Marks as complete. Done. Okay. Does psychiatry exist to be in my everyday life? It does. In the sense that I think it's always... This is going to be a very general answer to your question. This is how I do a lot of questions. So, in non-obvious ways, right? The more you do something, the easier it is to do more of that something. You know? Like, the more... It's like true for everything, right? Like the more you exercise, the easier it is to exercise. This is why like the calorie measurements on like a step machine or something are going to be inaccurate over time, because actually the amount of calories that you burn the more you do a certain set of exercises is probably going to decrease as your body gets more efficient at doing it, right? It doesn't mean don't do the same exercise, but it's like, anyways, what was I going to say? All right, the more you do something, the easier it is to do it. This is true for everything, right? So like the more, this is why we try to get people out of depression, because the more you're depressed, the easier it is for your brain to be depressed. The more you're psychotic, the easier it is for your brain to be psychotic, right? Like I think of the brain as like a field of grass, right? And each thought pattern is like walking across the field of grass and creating a trail. Oh, Kina, thank you for following. Wait, no, don't. He's mixing a cover for me and he's a genius, but don't listen to me talk about work. Okay, anyways, I'm continuing. Thinking about, thank you for following. Yeah, like the desire paths, right? Like when someone like cuts across a corner of the sidewalk and then so there's like a dirt path through the grass. Like the more people walk down that path, the more it becomes dirt and not grass, right? The more, now that there's a path there, then more people are going to be walking down that path. And at some point, maybe it becomes a real path, right? And so it's like desire paths. They're really, really cool. And our brains are the same way, right? If you can imagine, like, our brains, like, every time you have a certain thought or a way of thinking about something, you're making a little path. And then the more you walk down that path, the easier it is. And so the way I think about it is like, we all do this. But then sometimes it can become problematic, right? Because I think of depression as like if that path became like a deep hole in the earth, right? Because for most of us, maybe it's easier to walk down the path, but we can like step onto the grass if we must, right? It's not that hard. I can walk across the grass if someone's like, hey, can you come this way? But like if the desire path is not a dirt path, but instead the Grand Canyon, suddenly it's very hard to think any other way. And that's like how I think about really bad depression, you know, or really bad anxiety or really bad whatever. And that like, and this is why some people have the misconception that you can just bootstrap your way out of mental illness, because to them, getting away from a depressed thought is as easy as like jumping off the desire path. Whereas for someone with really bad depression, it's like, how am I supposed to climb out of this canyon with my bare hands? You know? Does that make sense? Anyways, to answer the larger question about does your job affect your day-to-day life? So my job is a job where like you have to be very, very thoughtful, you know? Thoughtful and introspective. I have to think about like, how am I reacting to things, and think about things in a nuanced way, and talk about things in a nuanced way. Like, it's a job where people will like yell at you, but you process it, right? Where the people that you're with also encourage you to process what you're doing and process what you're thinking and process what you're feeling. And that's the kind of people that I want to spend time with. And that's the kind of thinking that I want to do more of, because I want to become a more thoughtful, introspective, kind person, you know, empathetic person. So that's why I like my job, and that's why I think the job is really cool, you know, and why I think it helps in my day-to-day life, right? Because I've seen this happen to other people, like in the other direction. Like I've seen someone this was like 5-10 years ago, but I knew someone who was really, really, really kind, but then they went to work in a really high stress environment with people who were really, really mean and really rude. This sort of like, do you not have ears? Like, you know, sort of people. And then she became more like that. Because of course she did, because that's what everyone around her is doing. Like, if literally everyone around you is like doing something, you're gonna do it too. That's just how it is. So anyways, long story short, yes. Okay, as you can see, I am very circumstantial. I will talk about 20 things before I answer your question, but I did get there eventually. Okay. OMG, she knows about Desire Path Cinema. I love Desire Paths. They're so cool. I need ambiance. You know, I don't think I'm very good ambiance. I'm mixing beautiful music and listening to a crazy person talk about things in a very convoluted way. Okay. Is that why it's so hard for me to stop saying I'll kill myself at every minor convenience? I probably should have censored that. Honestly, yeah. Like, if you get used to that being your response, then that will become your response, right? It'll become your automatic response to things. Which is, like, for example, for me, I used to call myself, like, I used to like insult myself as a default reaction to things, you know? Like, people would like say things and I'd be like, oh, well, it's because I'm terrible. And I had just started dating my husband at the time, and he was like, Lev, why do you do that? Like, and I was like, oh, but it's just a joke. And he's like, yeah, it is just a joke, but like, I don't want you to think that way about yourself, even as a joke. So I don't like it when you do that. You should stop. And so then I tried to stop, and then actually my self-confidence did increase, even though I thought it was just like a joke and didn't really, you know, affect me. So yeah, the more you do something, the more you do it. Zanza has redeemed Have Lev Say What You Want for 10,000 channel points. With the caveat of, I will not say vulgar things. I'm gonna say this in like a radio tone voice, I think. Stinky? Smelly? Poopy? Farty? Oh! That's just Kimi. There you go. Not me abandoning my stream to lurk yours. Solas! My father! Hello! Hi! How are you? Were you sleeping on stream again and streaming for 48 hours or something? I saw your stream hit like 30 something hours and I was like, oh my god. Lev is out of breath from talking in circles. I am. Lingual lapse. I might steal the grass analogy. Do it. Do it. I stole that from someone else. I think circuitous is probably closer to the word you're looking for. Oh, circumstantial is like a psychiatric way of describing someone talking. Yeah. So it is, circumstantial does basically mean circuitous. The idea is like, it's when someone goes off topic kind of, but then they do come back around like a circle, as opposed to tangential, where someone tangents, like goes off topic, but then doesn't come back. I say it a lot of out of habit, but I'm trying to retrain myself to say, I no vibe with this world. I no longer vibe. I'm gonna commit a... maybe don't say you're gonna commit a war crime, like, currently. Yeah, sometimes you need to think of yourself as a project. Yeah, think of yourself as a horse from Uma Musume. You know? You need to rest. You need to eat. It's now the communal analogy. Exactly. Exactly. It's everyone. It's shared use analogy. Wait, free use analogy. That's I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. I don't think of myself, I think of others. Well, you should think of yourself too. You're also very important. Fair use analogy. That's what I meant. Probably. Is it though? I put myself way behind everyone else. Don't do that. Think of myself as a nerfed Giga Chad because I wanted to play fair. Y'all could live without me? No, bro. That's like besides the point though. We could do a lot of things. It doesn't mean that we want to. You know? Right? Like I could, theoretically, according to the people in Silicon Valley, I could live off of Soylent, but I don't want to. Surviving is not the same thing as living. Alrighty. We should probably do what we came here to do. No? Yes? The heck is Soylent? That's a good question. That's a good question. Soylent Green. Surviving is different from thriving, yeah. It's mostly out of playing the part of the main antagonist all the time. That is fair. I tend to play... This is great, because I always play the part of the victim. I am the victim here. Nobody loves me. All of these crimes are emotional crimes committed against my person. Okay. We're actually doing this now. Sorry, can you tell that we like kind of switched places a little bit? We switched places a little bit so that I can like do this. Is that good? It's a lot of black, but you know what? Fuck it, we ball. Soylent is a drink, looks efficient, yes, sad. That is an accurate description of what Soylent is. Yippee, now go to kitchen cells? Okay, maybe after this. So, let's see. We shall refresh. We shall go to, maybe not best. Let's go to hot? Because the thing is, I don't want to look at something that no one has read before, because I don't want to be the only person giving an opinion, you know? All right. Oh, this seems interesting. This seems short. So interesting. Am I the asshole for getting upset that my partner is making me give up my sports car because she can't drive manual transmission? You know, this is the other thing that I find interesting about Am I the Asshole is that like everyone's idea of what makes someone an asshole is like very, very different. Because there's a difference between like, am I the asshole and like, am I doing something illegal? And like, am I morally in the wrong? Like those are all different things. And I think people's, line for where they start calling someone an asshole is like very, very different. Anyways, I, 31 male, and my partner, 28 female, which I also... This is a good way of doing this. I hate it when people say my 18 male friend 54, like my is not a pronoun. So anyways, it confuses me. We're expecting our first child next year. Oh, congratulations. I currently drive a sedan sports car with a manual transmission. It's my pride and joy, and ever since I was a kid, I have wanted a car like this, and it's really the only nice thing I have. Okay, so he's very emotionally attached to this car. The definition of asshole on this subreddit seems very wobbly. It is indeed very wobbly. It is definitely extremely, extremely wobbly. Let's see. Let us continue. My partner cannot drive a manual. Instead of letting me teach her, okay, so he's offered to teach her. That's relevant. She said that we need to get rid of it so we each have a car that we can both drive in case of emergency. I totally understand and agree with the logic behind it, but I can't understand why she won't learn to drive a manual. I have confirmed on forums and Facebook groups that a baby seat can fit in the back just fine, and the boot/trunk space is big enough for a pram/stroller. The sacrifices she's going through to have our baby both mentally physically are not lost on me, and I am so incredibly proud of her. Maybe I just need a different perspective. Okay. I'm not gonna read the comments. Okay. I'm not gonna read the comments. I'm going to just engage with this because I think it's fun. I am curious what other people have said. I don't think it makes him an asshole to be upset about it. Like, read the comments? No, not yet. I'm going to give my opinion first and then I'm going to read the comments. Do chat. 5 gifted and I'll read the comments now, but I don't want to read the comments first. I want to give my opinion first. Untainted. He's not an asshole, he's just upset. Exactly, that's what I think too. Well, because this is the thing too, is that like, this could be very different, right? If she was like, I'm really worried and, you know, or how do I put this? It would be kind of assholey if he was like, I don't understand why she would even want to do this. My wife is so stupid. Like, that's kind of an asshole behavior. But like, this is like, even though what his wife wants is very understandable, or his partner wants is very understandable, and he clearly does understand it, he's still sad that he's being asked to sell and give up something that represented, like, success to him, right? Yeah, he loves his car. I mean, it's normal to be upset. I mean, I'm sure we all have something that we like really, really love and care about for emotional reasons, that if we had to give it up for logical reasons, we'd be like, maybe I can do it, but I'm also upset about it. Anyways, this probably, I think part of it too is like my thinking is that a lot of people sort of think of this very black or white. Like, either you agree that this should like, if you're upset, that means that you're not willing to do it, or you don't think that she's reasonable for wanting to do it, which is not true. Like, he can both think that, okay, she probably has a point, but then also be upset that he's losing his car, and then also be like, I still don't understand why she doesn't, like, learn how to drive with a manual transmission. Maybe she has another reason. She probably does have a reason. But like, from what I'm reading here, it sounds like what he feels is something like, oh, she doesn't care about the things that I care about. Or she doesn't care that this is going to make me upset. Or something. Or like, me being upset is not a good enough reason for her to learn how to drive manual, which shouldn't be that hard. Or something. I don't know how hard it is to learn how to drive a manual transmission. And also, I don't know how likely it is that they'll be in a situation where they need to drive each other's cars that often. Because clearly they've succeeded up till this point, you know? I feel like there's a compromise here. Like, either he drives more, or they like test drive it and see what happens. What's the car model? I have no idea. It just says sedan sports car. Anyways, we're reading the comments now. I don't think it's unreasonable that OP's partner doesn't want to learn stick, okay? His partner's car doesn't become the de facto family car. That might... Sorry, I'm reading this now. OP's partner drives an SUV. One of those is going to fit a car seat and hold a stroller and diaper bag and all the other paraphernalia of infant care much more easily than the other. I'm betting his partner doesn't want their car to become the default family car, while he gets to have a nice car to himself. A common struggle for a lot of new parents is that mom just becomes mom. Everything in their life ends up revolving around motherhood. Gifts end up being for baby or for household instead of for them. When they have time to themselves, they're still expected to be reachable, things like that. Meanwhile, dad still gets a life separate from fatherhood. Huh. This is a fair point. This is a very, very fair point. Yeah, I hadn't considered this. We don't have her side of the story, so we don't know her reasons and how she's thinking. Yeah, we don't. And so, like, again, or feeling, exactly. Imagine if it was a Rolls-Royce Phantom. I would also be upset if partner doesn't even consider learning manual. I mean, I think that, like, clearly this is a relationship where they, like, love and respect each other. It sounds like he doesn't even sound that angry. He just sounds like, I'm confused, and she clearly cares about this a lot, and I don't understand why. What am I missing? You know, is kind of the approach, the sense I get from what he's writing. Not like, my wife is being such an unreasonable asshole. Ah! Tell me that I'm right, you know, which is sometimes what you get on the internet. But yeah, we don't have her side of the story. That's very true. It's also a problem with these things, right? Is that, like, you can feel like you have the whole story from reading it or from hearing it from someone, but, like, you really don't. You can't come up with what the other side could possibly be. Wait, I just lost my Lev subscription. What the heck? Hang on. Oh. That's very important not to lose. Maybe she doesn't feel safe with a sports car, especially with a kid coming. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there probably are, like, other considerations for it other than I just don't want to learn how to drive manual. Yeah, I mean, he can have the car, just buy a third car for the family. I mean, if that's an option, right? Yeah. Yeah, I can understand money is low. I mean, I do think a third car probably would make the most sense. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for the emotes. The bouncy emotes. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I think it's a fair point. I think there could be confounding variables. Guys! Why are you all being so nuanced and reasonable? We're supposed to be like, your wife is No. We're supposed to be like, no, bro, you're totally in the right. Anyways, yeah. Wow, this is almost a reasonable post. Sounds like you guys need to have an adult conversation and find a middle ground. Yeah, she's also not in the wrong for preferring a vehicle she'd be more comfortable driving. You're not in, like, they're both not in the wrong, I don't think. I think it's just like, you just need to, like, talk, guys. Just talk. Well, okay. I'm going to go back. ETA, clearly. What are these? I forgot what these things are. What is ETA? NAH is no asshole here, right? You're the asshole, not the asshole. Everyone's the everyone's the asshole. No, I don't think that's true. So this is the thing, is that I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a second. Emotions are valid reasons to do or not do, like, or how do I put this? It's valid to express your emotions when you're in an argument or in a conflict. And I think it's important to be able to explore what your emotional reaction to something is. Like, I feel like there's the layers to these conflicts. A lot of the time it's an emotional thing, right? And, like, people will come up with all of these logical things that are probably also part of it, right? But it's like, I imagine when he says, why won't she just learn how to use manual transmission, he's thinking, she doesn't care about what I'm passionate about. She doesn't care that my feelings are hurt. Right, which is a totally different sentence, but I think that might be what he's saying, because that's often what happens. And then when she says, like, why does it matter so much to I'm making this up. I don't know what she said. But like if she says something like it's important that, you know, we have cars, we can use each other's cars and blah, blah, blah. But she's probably saying like, isn't our family important to you? You know, like, am I not important to you? Is this a sign that you will not give things up for are you not willing to sacrifice things for your family, for me and for our child? What does this mean for the future? And so it's like a lot of emotional stuff, and all of that is valid, but like when like when the actual argument is, I feel like you don't care about me, I feel like you don't think I'm important, and then the words that they're using is, why can't you learn manual transmission? Why can't you get rid of this car? It's just a car. That's where bad arguments happen. Does that make sense? Like, that's what I think is really hard, because I imagine, especially if you're in the middle of an argument and you're really, really upset and angry, it's hard to reach the emotional part underneath what you're actually saying. I don't know what this means, but you honestly sound and speak with the cadence of a therapist. Nice. I'm glad, I think, question mark. I do think of myself as a therapist. Most of the time. Because I do therapy. Ha 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 ha. So I'm glad. From the husband's perspective, it's his pride and joy. The wife's perspective, she wants a car that they both can drive that's good for the baby. From both perspectives, it's a reasonable argument. Yeah, exactly. Like, both sides can be reasonable without being, like, angry about it, you know? Looking for the latent content and feelings underneath. Yes! Big words! Yes! Latent content. Ah, I'm so happy, you guys. I'm so proud of you guys. Wait, I'm so happy. Y'all are so smart. And like nuanced. Ah, I love it. Let's see. Which of these sounds juicy? You know what's funny? Because I feel like some people like make their titles purposefully clickbaity. You know? Wait, let's see if I can find one where they are the asshole. Yep. So everyone thinks this person is the asshole. It's due to you being smarter than us. I'm not smarter than you guys. We have to have a dictionary and thesaurus near us. Using big words has nothing to do with being smart. Oh wait, have I told you guys what I think being smart actually is? Because I feel like people don't understand what intelligence, in my opinion. People don't understand my opinion on intelligence. I mean, probably not, because you haven't told them, Lev. People, in my opinion, people don't necessarily. Oh wait, like lay people don't have the I think the best or most helpful understanding of intelligence, right? Because like you look at people, like if you look at media and they talk. I guess this is a good time for a rant as any, because the ads are happening, I think. If you look at media and they're like, how do I tell people that this character is smart? And it's like, oh, they remember things. They know things. Like, they know facts. Like, I was watching a show the other day and they were like proving that someone was smart by being like, what's the square root of 42069 or whatever? And I'm like, being able to do complex mental math is not necessarily a sign of intelligence. Or not being able to do that is not a sign of lack of intelligence, right? Like, it's hard though, because it's really hard to show someone being smart without having it be like they know a lot of facts, right? But being smart is not being able to regurgitate facts on the, like, being able to memorize a ton of flashcards, you know? Like, in my opinion, I feel like intelligence is closely tied to problem solving and lateral thinking and creativity, right? Like being able to see things in a different way, being able to think of multiple ways of how to solve a problem, being able to analyze a situation and like figure out a solution. Emotional intelligence also plays into it, obviously, especially when it comes to like different perspectives. So like, I feel like who's like the prototypical like smart character? It's like Sherlock Holmes, you know, because he's a detective and he knows things, but he knows things in a way that is like unique, right? Like he uses his knowledge in a smart way. There is different types of intelligence. Exactly. You know, Sherlock Holmes, I'm pretty sure, I don't think he invented forensic investigation, but Sherlock Holmes as a series popularized forensic investigation. Like the idea of fingerprints and this dirt in the sand and this shoe and like that sort of a thing. Like that being added into detective work is really, really, really a big part of that is because of like the popularity of Sherlock Holmes, which I think is really cool. Yeah. Walter Penamine? I think it's pronounced Penamine. Talks about how like Sherlock Holmes originates this idea that like you cannot help but affect the area that you exist in, right? That like a room is not just a room holds the echoes of the people who have been there, you know, sort of a thing. It's very cool. So important when writing a character, you don't make them some super genius mathematician or something. Well, yeah, because like no one is like perfect. Perfect people are uninteresting. A perfect person would be extremely interesting. I'm a writer. That's cool. I wish I could write more. I don't. I just write a lot of patient notes. Intellect comes from his intuition and deduction skills. Ah, exactly. Right? It's not like, look, I believe that Bruce Banner's really smart. I don't think that he's really smart because he said, I have 8 PhDs or whatever. Because that actually doesn't totally make sense to me. Although I'm sure there are smart people in the world who hold multiple PhDs, but that's just because they're like, I have a thirst for knowledge, and so I just never want to leave school. Anyways. 8 PhDs sounds wasteful. Yeah, it does. Like, why would you do that? Anyways, we're moving on. Am I the asshole for testing how prepared my husband is for our baby? Reddit has said that is she? I'm assuming she is the asshole. Let us see if we decide. Hello. Okay. I am pregnant with my first child, and I tend to go overboard with hypotheticals. Oh dear. Okay. I tend to go overboard with hypotheticals. My brain goes, anxious and probably like neurotic. I've been trying to curb that behavior as we are stressed enough without adding my irrational what ifs to the mix. Okay. Fair. Okay. One worry that I have is leaving our baby in the backseat of the car. Also fair. That's a common like thing that happens. So there's all sorts of like, that's why cars have like weight sensors in the back that say like, check the back seat if there's something in the back seat, because people have left their babies behind. Because, you know, your brain just goes like, ooh, I'm going to drive home even though I'm meant to drive somewhere else. I may be more anxious about it due to my coworker's daughter nearly dying from being left in the car in summer heat a few years ago. Well, that's a good reason to be anxious about it. One of the first things I asked my husband was to check the back seat every time he gets out of the car, just so we can make a habit of it. He understood why I was asking and agreed immediately. A month ago, we were looking for a mobile we brought home from my mom's house. We tore the house apart for days looking for it and figured we left it behind on accident. While using my husband's car, I found the mobile, not hidden or obscured, but right where we left it in the center seat. I brought it up to my husband, who didn't seem alarmed. He laughed it off as my pregnancy brain. I told him it's been in the backseat this whole time, and he didn't notice. He said it was just decor, and he didn't register it as important, even though we were looking for it for days. I reminded him how important it was that he checked the backseat every time he got out of the car, but the gnawing feeling that he's been neglecting looking in the backseat with me looking in the back, sat with me for another week before I decided to test it. Oh, this is the problem. That's a problem. See, this is all very reasonable. Or at least, it's maybe more anxiety than probably is healthy. Because she seems like the kind of person who's probably going to put a lot of pressure on herself to be perfect, you know? And I don't think this helps. But this testing someone in a relationship is never, I almost never say never, but like genuinely, like that's almost never a good idea. Like that's not, it's not worth it. Like either you're being the asshole, or the fact, like, because you need to talk about things, right? And if you can't talk about things, it's either because you're being an asshole or because the relationship has other issues. Both are problems. Post-it note, wrote it, I told him if he was checking the back every day. He promised that I was, so I asked him why he never responded to my note. His reply, what note? I freaked out. I yelled, but how important it was that we check the back every time we were in the car, especially since we both have ADHD, and when it's out of sight, it's out of mind for us. He said that I was being crazy and irrational, and I was setting up tests for him to fail. This spiraled into a fight. He admitted that he hasn't been checking the back seat every day like I asked, and the idea of forgetting a baby in the car is ridiculous. It could never happen to us. I brought up every summer there are news reports of babies dying because their parents left them in a hot car. He called us parents irresponsible, said it could never be us. I asked him if he thought my coworker was one of those irresponsible parents. He had no response and asked to table the discussion until we had time to cool off. I agreed, but we've had to return to it. Since then, anytime we talk about the baby, he'll ask if this is another way he'll accidentally kill the baby. My husband is not a passive-aggressive person. Oh, it's good that she knows that. And I'm realizing how hurt he is by all of this. I want to try to explain in a calm way how I feel and how important I find this, but with his behavior lately, I'm starting to wonder if he's right and am I the asshole? Ooh. Ooh. Okay, layers. Testing someone like this is an asshole thing to do. Like, I was with her. I was with her until she got there. Because what is the intent of that, right? The fact that she can question if she's the asshole is a good sign. It is. Well, I mean, especially, I like the last paragraph, right? It's very self-aware of like, oh, he's very upset. And it's not like, oh, he's upset because he's stupid. You know, it's like, oh, he's upset. My husband is usually an even-tempered person. Maybe I did fuck up. Like, I think this is the thing with testing someone. It's like, you can say that you're, in the right as much as you want, right? You can say it as much as you want, but like when you test someone like this, what is the purpose of that, right? The reason that I think it's an asshole thing to do is that neither outcome of a test like this is good, right? Either he quote unquote succeeds, but then is like, why are you testing me? Right? Because the predicate of testing it is that she's assuming he's probably going to fail, right? And then of course he did, right? Because like, she wasn't wrong in suspecting that he wasn't taking this as seriously as she was. That could have been a conversation. Instead, it became this weird gotcha moment of like, you are checking the back, aren't you? Oh, you're not? Well, or you are? Well, I know that you're not because you didn't read this post-it note that I put there. And then suddenly they're both, he's blindsided into an argument. And it's just like, that's not a setup for a good conversation. That's not a setup for a good conversation. Like, even if you're kind of in the right, you know, and you think that like someone is lying to you about something or hiding something from you, putting them into a gotcha situation is not a setup for it to resolve in a peaceful manner. So if it's a relationship that you want to preserve, which I assume it is if it's someone you're married to, don't do that. You can test like a coworker that you hate or something, or like a neighbor that you don't want to have a relationship with anyway. But like, if you want someone to have positive regard for you, or to feel like you have positive regard for them, it's just, it never feels good. There's no good outcome. Even if you're in the right, once you do that, you're in the wrong, you know, kind of. Not that, okay, you're being an asshole. So that's asshole behavior. That's really asshole behavior. And then bringing it up in the middle of an argument is also, it's like, I'm not going to bring up the fact that you didn't respond to my test post-it note until we're arguing about it, and so I can use it as a gotcha, see? It's like, that's not very nice. That being said, the anxiety is reasonable, right? They're just like having two totally different conversations about it. I agree with the husband, bad parents. I don't think it's necessarily the case. Like, at some point, the reason that things like this happen all the time is because we're humans. Someone forgetting their kids in the car is not because they don't care about their kids. Like, you can care an infinite amount about your child and still make a mistake. That's because you're human. Because you're a human being, you know? Like, there's parents out there, like, there's so many mitigating circumstances, right? Like, someone's working nights, they've worked 24 hours in a row, or they haven't slept in like 36 hours or something, and sure, they probably shouldn't be driving 100%. I don't think anyone should be driving if they're not sleeping well, but maybe they don't have money for an Uber and they need to go pick up their kids, and then it was a weird situation where normally they would go home, but this time they had to go somewhere else, and then they stopped there, and then they fell asleep, and then their kid is in a hot car. Like, it happens. So I don't know, like, it's two different conversations, right? Because she's afraid of making a mistake, and he thinks that she doesn't trust him to be a parent, which is different. Because people who love their kids do this all the time. Because that's where you can tell that's what is making him offended, is that he thinks this would only happen if I didn't love our children. Which is not true. Doesn't fly by in court, just doesn't care if a baby died because the parent is human. I'm not saying that, like, it's, how do I put this? The way to prevent it is not to assume that it will never happen because you're not a bad parent, right? Because the judge doesn't care if a baby died because the parent is human. Exactly, because you should know that you could forget. So you should have a system of checking. Does that kind of make sense? It's like, no one is going to expect you to remember every doctor's appointment without putting it in your calendar. But, like, no one is going to expect you to, like, yeah, remember a doctor's appointment without writing it down. That doesn't mean that not writing it down means that you're not responsible for, like, knowing it, right? Like, you should know you're not going to remember, and you should know that you might make a mistake, and then mitigate that, especially when it comes to kids. Like, I think that's the responsibility thing that people are talking about. But, like, you should check the back of your car is, I think, a pretty minimal bar of... Anyways, to be fair, they did talk about it repeatedly and kept saying he checked and they had something in his backseat he was claiming to check. I mean, that's what I mean, whereas, like, I think her frustration of, like, I feel like you aren't taking this as seriously as I am is, like, fair, right? Like, because I don't think he is. And clearly he's not. How much of the argument do you think is due to both of them having ADHD and their relationship that is built on it? I'm not quite sure what you mean, but there is, like, it could be related to ADHD, because I think with ADHD, like, when we talk about ADHD, like, it's really common for people with ADHD to also have really bad anxiety. And, like, part of that is because the experience of growing up having ADHD means that you'll have a lot of experiences that will make you have anxiety, because you'll have a lot of experiences of, like, forgetting to do things, or not hearing people, or people yelling at you because they're like, why didn't you finish or do, or blah blah blah, XYZ. And so you have a lot of anxiety about things, and so then they worry, and then they become this sort of a person where there's a lot of, like, what ifs, what if this, what if that, what if this, what if that. And then, like, conversely, on the other side of it, especially once you get your diagnosis, there can be a lot of like defensiveness, and not in a bad way necessarily, but just like you're like protective of yourself, right? Of like, I know I'm not intentionally doing these things, but all of these people are acting like I'm lazy or something, right? And so then you get defensive. So it's just, it could be contributing for sure. I've experienced it being tested. Just feels awful every time. Exactly, it feels awful. It's not good. Don't test people if you want to maintain a relationship with them. Please don't test neighbors because you might need them. I mean, yeah, if you want to maintain a positive relationship with your neighbors where they might want to be nice to you, don't test them. But if you're like, I never want to see them ever again in my life, even if I was dying, I don't want their help, then sure, test them. Exactly what the wife's trying to do, build the habit of checking in case. Yeah, okay. So Rosie, we're on the same page. I guess I mean, like, I think it happening in the first place, like the possibility that you could forget your child in the car, and so therefore you should learn how to check, that doesn't make you a bad parent. Thankfully, this will probably keep me from leaving a baby in the car should I ever have one. Yeah, this, talking about it at length. I have this looming fear that I'm gonna lock my keys in the car every time I get ready to close the door, and I end up doing this weird indecisive shuffle before eventually shutting the door. I mean, we all do that. I do this all the time. I'm like, check, double check, triple check, quadruple check. I'm like, do I have my keys? 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 I feel like it's very normal. But yeah, again, this is very tough. Where it's like, for the specific question that she's asking, yeah, I think testing her husband was an asshole move for sure. For sure it was an asshole move. Don't do that. But then, like, I think her concern is reasonable. You know, I get why he's upset, but I think that wanting to check the back seat and make it a habit is a reasonable thing to want to do. I think her level of concern is maybe a bit too high, and that's why he's having difficulty taking her seriously. Like, maybe she's... Because I get the sense that the feeling for her is like, every time we don't check the back seat is a time that our baby could have been there, and then we could have killed it. Our baby. You know, like, it's almost catastrophic, right? Like, we have to do this or else our baby could die. Which is a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of pressure. And like, and if that's like the level of concern that you have, like every time we don't check the backseat is a time that our child could die, then you can understand her being like, why aren't you checking it? Ah! But like, from her husband's perspective, I think he's thinking of it like, oh, only bad parents forget their kids in the backseat, so I would never, so I don't need to build this habit. It's like, also, he's misunderstanding her. So anyways, all this to say, you know what the real solution is? I should have talked about this like 2 months ago. You know, like in here, there's like, right here, he understood why I was asking and agreed immediately. He did not understand why you were asking, because down here, he says, like, it could never happen to us. It only happens to bad parents. So, like, he doesn't understand. Probably right then, he was like, oh, she doesn't trust me. Like, she doesn't trust me to be a good father. That's why she's asking. And so then, but he, like, didn't say anything, probably, because he's like, yeah, it's not worth talking about right now. And then it festered, and then he didn't take it seriously, and then she suspected, and then was like, oh, he doesn't care about our baby or something, and then that festered, and they never said anything, and then they confronted each other in the most unhelpful way possible. So, like, a conversation, a calm conversation, like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, or however long ago it was, probably would have helped, right? Like, hey, I feel like when you asked me to do this, it made me feel like you didn't trust me with our baby. And I hope that's not what you think. If that is, you should tell me. You know, something. I don't know. It doesn't have to be that exactly, but you know, right? Or when she started being like the mobile or whatever, being like, hey, I think we need to talk, you know, with the mobile, like the mobile, the whatever, it just makes me worried that you're not checking the back seat. And that makes me worried that like we might forget our baby. And then instead of lying and saying, oh, I check it every single time, because that's also not helpful. Like, he hasn't been helping the situation by lying about the fact that he doesn't take it seriously and isn't checking. Because, like, what? This is the thing. It's like a well-meaning lie, right? Like, he wants to reassure her and he doesn't want to get into a fight. But the fact that he's been doing it for so long is what led to this fight in the first place. And so they could have had like a uncomfortable conversation earlier instead of this extremely uncomfortable conflict. If he hadn't made a comfortable white lie, you know, of like, oh, I'm totally checking all the time, you know? So anyways, this is why communication is important. Right? Like, even like uncomfortable things. It's important to like say what you're feeling. Particularly with people who you have a strong reciprocal relationship with, right? Because it's also like a way of expressing trust and caring, right? Of saying, when you said this, it hurt my feelings, but I do trust and believe that we are in this relationship because we care about each other, and I believe that you care about me. So I don't think you would try to hurt me intentionally, so I want to understand, or something. I don't know. You know? Because at some point it becomes like this, I'm assuming you must be hurting me on purpose, and and then it's like, there's no way back from that. The ability to communicate with each other properly is an underrated ability. I mean, yeah, I think a big part of it too is like the ability to tolerate conflict. Because by nature, everyone has conflict, right? No two people are exactly alike. Even twins aren't exactly alike. Even twins disagree, right? Like twins, like they're like genetically identical and they lead different lives and they have make different decisions and they have different opinions and they don't always agree on things. Like, just the nature of being two different people means that you're not going to agree on everything, and not only that, you're not going to see everything the same way. So there's going to be conflict, and acting like it's not there when it is there just makes it a bigger problem down the road, you know. Thanks for sharing your perspective. I do think having good or at least baseline understanding of ADHD and how it can manifest is important to assessing the situation, and also to determining whether or not they are an asshole. True. No, that's definitely very true. Yeah, I think it's interesting how like a chronic illness in one place can lead to like different symptoms in another way, you know? Okay. All right. Let's go. Wow, these are way more nuanced than I thought they would be, actually. I thought they would be much more extreme. Okay, well, then maybe let's... I guess maybe they've become more nuanced over time, right? Let's see. Am I the asshole for leaving during a rosary dedicated to my wife's deceased father? Oh, Jesus. Am I the asshole for not letting my homeless friend stay at my parents' house? Okay, let's read this one. yeah, people with diagnosis are responsible for their behavior, but the amount attributable to it or not is viewed by society may be different depending on society's current reference point and understanding of a current diagnosis. That's very true. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, think about the growing awareness and diagnosis of like autism, right? And how that obviously, it being the disorder that it is, like, changes people's, I guess, reference point for thinking about people's like social behavior. Because I think it's similar to, I think there's a reason that when we think about things legally, that like intent does matter even in a legal setting in a lot of cases, right? I'm not a legal expert. Like, I'm IANAL. I am not a lawyer at all. I'm not a lawyer. I just sometimes have doings with the law, being a psychiatrist, and in those doings, sometimes it comes up when I've spoken to lawyers, like, oh yeah, intent sometimes does matter, right? And I think that matters because, like, we as humans think it matters, right? So I think part of being an asshole is not just what you say, but like, it's, how do I put this? Someone saying something, intending, knowing it will hurt someone's feelings and intending for it to hurt their feelings is like more assholery than someone saying this exact same thing in the exact same way, not knowing it would hurt someone and not wanting to hurt someone, right? Even so, I would hire you as my lawyer. Terrible idea. Horrible idea. I'm not offering. No, I do not want to do that. I would be a horrible lawyer. Bro, you would not do well. I feel like I remember Emma the Asshole being like, Emma the Asshole doing this really mean thing. Or Emma the Asshole for wanting this thing and then this person was really mean to me about it. Maybe that's just viral stuff. I mean, that's true. There's some viral stuff that's like crazy. Like, I saw someone's Am I the Asshole for being mad that my husband is having sex with my mom, and I was like, whoa. I mean, I think too, they're probably cracking down on people who are like writing fake posts as like creative writing exercises, you know? Okay. I have an old friend from high school. I'll name her Sarah. I'm reading the post. I'm naming her Sarah. Sarah and I were briefly friends when we were 16. Okay. So I'm gathering this was a long time ago. Over the course of 17 years, we messaged each other no more than 10 times. Recently, she reached out and asked for my parents' number because she had a legal question. Okay. Months later, she showed up at my parents' house unannounced. How did she get their address? Okay. Already, I know this man is not the asshole. Your Honor, if you are what you eat, then my clients are innocent men. Gulls. Speaking of Saul Goodman, Better Call Saul is really good. By the way, Better Call Saul is really good. In some moments, I liked it better than Breaking Bad. And I don't know if that's heretical to say, but it's true. Or at least it's true for me. You can look up the phone number, find the information of the person pretty easily. Really? That feels illegal. Or at least, like, if someone didn't give you their address, why are you going to their house? Anyways, she told my parents she has nowhere to go and wants to stay the night. What? My dad doesn't remember her, so essentially she's a stranger. She was having a mental breakdown and claimed she took a bus from Texas to Illinois and her plan was to go to Iowa to see her mom. She gave my parents her mom's number. I called and the woman doesn't know Sarah. Okay. I'm not sure she's telling the truth. Why stop in Illinois? She used to live here, but doesn't add up. Originally, my mom offered to put her up in a hotel for one night. Very kind of her. Very kind of her. But I told her to avoid doing that out of fear she would hurt herself. She could hurt herself. How? My mom took her to the police where a social worker evaluated her and recommended taking her to the hospital. Oh, that is a interesting point. I will come back to that because I was also thinking this. She refused to go to shelter. She got some money. Oh, they gave her money for food, bus ticket, clothes. They gave her $160. That's a lot of money. Jesus. Okay, honestly, all I see here is him and his family being extremely kind to this random person they talked to once 4 months ago showing up at their house. Sarah's very upset. She blocked me on Facebook, but terrible because it was cold. It's fair. I'm not sure if my citizens were ethical. I think they were ethical. I'm concerned she is going to come back to my parents, and if she does, I'm unsure what to do. Am I the asshole for having my parents turn her away? No. No, I don't think so. Because they don't know this person. And also, part of it too, this is where like gut instincts mean a lot, right? Like, once again, there's a whole other side to this story that we don't know about. But just this whole like this whole plan that she came up with and that she's telling them about doesn't really add up. Like, it doesn't really make sense. And also, it doesn't make sense to say, I'm going to see my mom, here's her phone number, and then have that phone number be to someone who doesn't know you. Because that's so easy to check, and you give someone's phone number knowing they're going to check it, right? Like, that's just how it works. So this doesn't add up, and it doesn't add up in a way that makes it seem like there's something impairing this person's ability to make good decisions and to execute on plans and stuff, and that there's probably a reason the social worker at the social worker at the police station, which is cool that there was a social worker at the police station to evaluate her, recommended taking her to the hospital, because they don't say that for everyone. So like, because of that, I don't like armchair talking about anyone, especially not like third hand like this. But like, we're hearing from him, hearing from his parents about her. Like, I don't know. But like, there's like not enough information here to fully say one way or the other. But with the information that we do have, there's like a weird, it doesn't add up sort of a thing that makes it sound like there's something going on with her mentally. I'm not saying it's necessarily mental illness. It could be any number of things. But like, I don't think it's asshole behavior to say like, I don't know what's going on here. The explanation you gave me doesn't make sense. I'm not going to let you stay in my house, especially if it seems like you might need a different kind of help, right? Because it's not more likely the story itself doesn't add up. I mean, she could be lying. That's also possible, right? Either she's lying, which is like a reason not to let her in your house, or she just can't be logical, which is another reason not to have her in your house. Because the problem is that like, even if it's being helpful to house someone for a night, what she actually probably needs is like a different kind of help. And if something were to happen, his parents are not the people who are equipped to be able to help her. You know, if she's like not well enough that she's like just running around the country, I think they need more, I think they would need more support. Also, I'm realizing now, the whole like, she reached out to ask about talk to my parents about copywriting an idea. That could be nothing, but also it's like very weird to reach out to someone you've never talked to talk to their parents about copywriting an idea that you had. Also, if you are like about to be homeless. So like, just in terms of like where you would put your efforts, right? This reminds me of manic patients I've seen in the past. So I don't know. I don't actually know what's going on, but I don't think what they did was assholery. I think they actually went really out of their way to like make sure that she had a place to go, to make sure that she had money to be able to pay for a place to go. It's like not, she didn't, assuming maybe that like there's nothing mentally going on. You don't go to someone's house that you've never met and you haven't talked to, or you only talked to once 5 months ago through a friend that you also haven't talked to in years, and say, I came without warning expecting to live in your house for a day. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. Also, going from Texas to Illinois is kind of crazy. Like, this sort of, like, suddenly traveling very long distances is also very, like, something's not right here. So, I get the sense that she needs help more than he or his family would be able to provide. And so, I think they did the right thing. I mean, I think it's probably similar to what I would have done. Probably. If my take on this is correct. But... yeah. Yep. Not the someone really is in trouble and they refuse your help because they fall short of what they want or prefer. That's not your problem and honestly suspicious behavior. Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. Yeah. I think that says it all. As someone who's spoken to a lot of homeless people, it's pretty frequent that they're extremely depressed, hopeless, or extremely anxious, truly a sad state of affairs. Yeah, I mean, working in psych, I see a lot of homeless people. And like, it's, there's things that you don't know about what it's like to be homeless until you talk to someone who's actually homeless. Like, I think a lot of people assume that going to a shelter would be better than being on the street. And depending on what city you're in, maybe that's true. But there are also, I have also heard people say, like, it depends on the shelter, because there's some shelters where, like, that's actually probably more dangerous for me than to just be on the street. Which is sad, right? And so then that can lead to people, like, if you don't understand that, then, like, the decision making of, like, oh, I'm gonna refuse a shelter doesn't make sense. But it does make sense to them, so. It's really, really sad. It's really, 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 really sad. No one should have to make a decision between, like, do I lie and say I need medical help when I maybe don't need medical help right now, or do I just lay here in the cold and possibly get frostbite? Like, what kind of a decision is that? So, anyways. I'm getting in my feels. Okay. Well, my throat is starting to hurt, so we've done 3 posts. We've done 3 posts, and I think that's it. Mental strife combined with a common inability to receive proper help can cause them to make decisions that aren't made with the most sound judgment. I mean, yeah, like, it's hard for anyone to make good decisions when they're really stressed, you know? Okay. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. We're going back to here. Yeah, like a shelter in concept sounds better, but they don't know each other, so even if you are violent or have issues, exactly, like, you don't know it. Dum, dum, ding, 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 ding. Bam, 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 bam. Sorry, I'm going to test my... I want to play some alerts. Because I think they're funny. And I get to play them for free. Okay. Can I find them? Oh wait, I can't see them on my, I can't see them on mod view. Lev Vellichor. Vellichor. Lev Vellichor. Okay, let's see. Will that work? Ooh, Ooh, ee, ah, ee, ooh, ee, ah. Boom, 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 boom. Also, like, I need suggestions for more sound alerts to put on here. The folks I've spoken to have all been genuinely well-meaning people who made mistakes they regret or caught in a bad situation they still haven't recovered from. Yeah, that's been my experience as well. Is I feel like it really depends on the environment that you're in, like, to remember that, right? Because I feel like a lot of people who work in like the emergency or department can get really burnt out, but it's because of where they're working that they're seeing people like kind of at their most stressed and their most volatile, right? So people aren't always like that, but it feels like that. But most people, I think, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but I do genuinely believe that most people mean well and want to help others / want to be like good people, as it were, and that when people make mistakes, it's often for reasons that are understandable or explainable, even if it's not like necessarily super justified or mean that they were right. But I feel like most people do things for like logical reasons, you know? Seemingly logical. Just curious, how frequently have you had to 302/ involuntarily hospitalized patients that you see so far? I'm assuming 302 is some state's involuntary something or other. It's different state to state in the US. In the US, it's different state to state. So the criteria for involuntarily hospitalizing someone is different in every state. So it kind of depends. How frequently have I had to? It depends on the situation that you're in. Like in the outpatient, it almost never happens. When you work in the ED, it kind of depends on where you are. A lot of times involuntary hospitalizations start with like police contact. And so then it kind of depends on where the police take them. Because the police will be the ones who write the first like involuntary hold maybe or something. It all depends. But it's not that frequent. Maybe when I was working nights, maybe like, I guess on average, it was probably like 3 to 4 times a week. And it wasn't necessarily the case that it would end up in like a really, really long hospitalization or something. But it's like, if you're sitting here telling me that you're going to go out there and hurt yourself, I can't just let you walk out of the building. Especially, like, even if you say you don't want to leave, you know? It's all from working in parking lots. Oh yeah, see, that makes sense. Yeah, people just come up and talk to me and I talk to them and you learn a lot that way. Yeah, you really do. Wait, someone first time chatted. Yuki Drums! Thank you for the first time chat. You're a psyop. I mean psychiatrist. Bro, I'm not a psyop. This is actually no, I am. I'm not real. This is all a elaborate psyop to infiltrate your brain with a anime girl. Yes. Did a personality test out of nowhere today. Got compulsive. Compulsive personality? Interesting. I wonder why. Probably like obsessive. It probably meant that you were obsessive. Bleh. Hi, Cygnus. Bleh. As someone who says what's the worst that can happen, the worst always happens. I mean, isn't that like a kind of bastardized version of Murphy's Law? I've been trying to be a better version of myself, but the guilt is hurting me. Oh. I mean, guilt is tough, you know? And so, okay, this is what I meant when I was talking about, like, people can, like, I think that people can do things that maybe aren't super justifiable, but it can be reasonable or understandable, right? Or, like, has its own logic. Because, like, people will, like, do things that are objectively, like, really assholey or really wrong or are gonna hurt other people. But the reason is because, like, oh, I need to avoid my own feelings of shame or guilt or embarrassment or something. And it's like, I get that. I still don't think it's a good enough reason to hurt someone else, but I can get it. Like, it makes sense. It's not for no reason, you know? So anyways. I once said, I'll join the army. What's the worst that can happen? Oh no. Deployment happened. The worst that happened. Oh no. Oh no. Also, happy belated Veterans Day. I don't know if you're American or not, but regardless, I'm American, and it was Veterans Day yesterday, and I think it applies to everyone, even non-American vets. So, there's already too many in my brain. What if there's an anime girl that broke the brainstem scenario on the horizon? No! You need the brainstem to live. That's important. It, like, controls your breathing and stuff. Hi, Lev, I did something wrong. My goodness, what a first-time chat. Miro, well, I hope everything is okay. If you need to have a serious conversation about something that went wrong, this is not the place to have a serious conversation about, like, personal stuff. But, like, I hope everything's okay. We are all American. We just haven't found the oil yet. Oh yeah, it was Veterans Day, huh? Thank you, I'm indeed in the American Army. Yes, indeed. Yeah. No, I mean, I keep track of it just because, like, I think everyone in medicine ends up, like, working aligned with the VA at times, you know? Because the VA is, like, a socialized healthcare system. VA is cool, honestly. World's First to Death by Anime Girl Overload. You know, I don't know what the specifics of Anime Girl Overload would be, but I'm guessing that, if I can abstract too much anime girl, has that ever killed someone? I wouldn't be surprised if the answer is yes. I lost track of time since I'm overseas. Oh my gosh. All right, well, I wish you all the best and, like, safety and good luck. Yeah. I mean, being overseas is hard. Yeah. I have friends who work in, like, military medicine situations, and they're also overseas. So I have heard of it, even if I don't personally get it. Yeah. I asked an officer to handcuff me, but all I got was a laugh. Oh no. Don't do that. 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 Don't make jokes where there would be bad consequences if you were taken seriously to people that you don't know. Always safe, says while doing OPFOR for tanks. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming it means, like, maintenance or something like that. I mean, you never know. Like, things go wrong. So yeah, be careful. CPRS is psychic damage. The VA EMR, it is psychic damage. CPRS is, like, fancy Excel. It's... I mean, I think all don't get me started on electronic medical records. I think they all... I have issues with all of them. Well, we did an autopsy and Miku was engraved on every single neuron in his brain. No! Its brain simply shut down from an overload of Hatsune Miku. I do not know what CPRS is. Oh, CPRS is, I don't even know what it stands for, but it's the system that doctors who work in Veterans Affairs, like in America. So the Veterans Health System in America has its own electronic medical record, and it's CPRS. And so that's what all of the medical records for the veterans in America use. And so that's where you write your notes, but it's also where you put in orders and where you put in, like, referrals to other doctors and where you put in imaging tests and lab tests and stuff like that. So yeah. Okay, I'm a Canadian, so I mean, even if you were American, you probably wouldn't know what CPRS is. I don't think most people know what it's like. Also, I asked to be tased to know what it feels like, so he laughed again, so I told myself, do I need to commit a crime? What? Why? 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 Don't do that! Don't do that. You could hurt yourself. Being tased is not fun. Bro, you could really hurt yourself. You know your body like also runs on electricity too, right? Like it can really fuck that up. Don't do it on accident. Shit, I didn't even know that. I mean, I guess to be fair, you're like active duty, right? And so the VA is more for like people once they're discharged from the military. I think. Right? Because I think active duty would be more like the only hospital that's coming to mind is the famous big one, Walter Reed, right? Yeah. Like, that's not the VA, I don't think. Op force, opposing forces. Ah. That's crazy. Why are you shooting at tanks with blank? Whoa. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, that's crazy. Did get tased and pepper sprayed, voluntarily can't recommend. Why would you do that? What? Again, no. I want to see if I can have the tolerance. Why? No. You don't. I'll just tell you right now. Assume that you don't. It's painful. Don't do that. It was an offer in the army. I mean, that I can kind of understand, but it's also just like, I don't... There's some experiences that are fine to not be experienced, I think. Yes, the VA is for vets. For us in active, we use our TRICARE. Yeah. So that's, you know, why would you know? And even vets who go to the VA don't necessarily need to know what CPRS is, you know? The same way that, like, patients don't know what Epic is, which is one of the most common electronic medical records that doctors use. At least in America, because my only context is America. I wonder how CPRS compares to Epic. CPRS is... I will say it is less able. How do I put this? It's less competent. It's has less features than Epic. Epic has a lot of cool features, and it's also designed in a much more clear way to read. Like, it actually has colors, and you have the ability to like bold and italicize and highlight and format your text. Like, not everything isn't a plain text file. So, like, there's a lot of features of Epic that are a lot nicer. And, like... But at the same time, I feel like all EMRs have, like, will have some kind of issue, right? And for Epic, is that some parts of it are really complicated, in my opinion. Like, overly complicated. And in CPRS, it's like simple, but in a way that makes it tedious. So, I don't know. They're all annoying. And the most annoying part is that I keep going off on my like opinions about medicine. I just think that it's at times often extremely inconvenient for doctors that they can't see what other doctors have written about someone, right? That like if you go to one place and get a lab, unless you like get it printed out and bring it with you to your other doctor somewhere else, they might not be able to see it. Unless you sign a form that they then fax to the lab, which this other lab needs to get and then accept with their own form and then fax back to your doctor, who then also the front desk there needs to find it and then put it into your chart. And that's how. And even then, it won't be in like the system. It'll be just like a faxed picture somewhere in your chart. That's how we exchange information. It's not very efficient. And so this is why, like, if you get your care at a lot of different places, it's hard for them to communicate with each other. Blows my mind the medical field is still using fax machines. Oh yeah, we use fax machines every day. I used a fax machine today. Yeah. We use pagers too. I have a pager. I have multiple pagers, depending on what day it is. Yeah, we still use pagers and fax machines. We use fax machines to talk to other people in the same hospital. It's just the easiest way. Honestly, it is actually kind of easier to send papers. She's talking like that's a flex. It's not a flex. I'm just saying it's true. Okay, fine, you're right. I will just ask the fire department. Don't ask the fire department. Also, I don't know if the fire department would have tasers. I hate hospitals. All those machines. Oh. Do you hate machines? Do you hate the clankers? The pager is the real inducer of mental trauma. It's so true, though. The sound of the pager going off still makes me jump. It makes my, like, heart rate go up. Like, if I had a heart rate monitor, if you played, like, the pager sound that I set my pager to when I was an intern, I would... Oof. I would die. I would... Like, my heart would start racing. Like, I remember the alarm that I used for my medicine rotations, where I had to get up at 4 in the morning. The alarm was like the default like Samsung alarm or something, and every time I hear it, and so this I was not smart. I shouldn't have set it to the default Samsung alarm, but it was the default Samsung alarm. And now lots of other people use it just for normal alarms in the hospital. And so I'll hear I still remember it because every time I hear it, my heart starts to race. Right now my heart is racing. I'm just like, I don't want to go back. Like, I don't know why that specific alarm just really, really sets me off. I don't like it. I wish I had a fax machine. Oh, so you could tell people to fax you? Honestly? Yeah, they could fax you, like, they could write you a letter and fax it to you. That'd be cool. We getting a pager sound alert redeem? I mean, maybe I should. It would be really sad for me. It'll cause mental trauma for me. But, you know, that's fine. I hate the alarm sound so much. My body trained itself to wake up 10 to 15 minutes before. I don't know if I should be impressed with myself. That's pretty impressive. But also, like, that makes me think that some part of your brain isn't, like, not fully resting. So maybe it would be helpful to come up with an alternative way to wake yourself up, like with a sun lamp or something, you know? Or a machine that whips your covers off or something like that. Because being able to fully sleep is nice. I have been through many surgeries, and every 2 minutes a machine would go off, the nurse would come in while I tried to sleep, so I asked for sleep but was deprived of that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's a big problem in hospitals. That's a big problem in hospitals. That there's so many machines and they're all so loud, and that, like, alarm fatigue is a really, really big problem. Because, like, alarms will go off for everything. There's alarms that will go off if someone gets out of bed, which they don't place for everyone, but there's some people who are like, you're so unwell, you can't get out of bed on your own, or else you're at risk of falling. So we have an alarm that goes off that's weight sensitive, but sometimes it goes off on accident, even when you're not getting out of bed. And then there's an alarm for if your IV stops working. And then there's an alarm for if your blood pressure is too high, or if the O2 saturation monitor doesn't sense anything, because what if it means that you're dead? Instead of it falling off someone's finger, you know? And then there's also the alarm for, like, every other room next to you that you can also hear, or the other person in the same room as you, you know? There's alarms for all of those things. They're just beeping everywhere. And then if there's more machines involved, like you're in the ICU, God forbid, you know, with like ventilators and other things, it's just like, oh my God, everything has an alarm. Everything has like 5 alarms, you know? What's the alarm for the alarm not working? I bet there is one. I'm sure there is one. There's all sorts of alarms in the hospital. Everything's ringing, everything's alarming. And then it also doesn't help that, like, there's a lot of, like, they try to be very stringent about and controlled about things in the hospital, but it's, like, tough when people make, how do I put this? A lot of stuff in the hospital happens, like, every X amount of hours, right? Usually in something that is that 24 is divisible by, right? Like every 24 hours, or every 12 hours, or every 8, or 3, or 4, or 6, right? Like something that, like, equals 24 if you multiply it enough times. The problem is that, like, if you need to get someone's vitals every 4 hours, that means you need to check their blood pressure every 4 hours. And like, of the things that you can check, like, you can kind of check someone's temperature without waking them up, and you can kind of check their O2 sat without waking them up, and with the O2 sat maybe you could kind of check their like heart rate without waking them up. You can't really check someone's blood pressure without waking them up unless they're like a really deep sleeper. So like, what, you can't sleep for longer than 4 hours, you know? But then it's like, also, what are you supposed to do? Like, you have to check people's vital signs, especially if they're like so unwell, they're in the hospital. So it's bad. It's all bad. There's no ideal solution. No one sleeps in the hospital. I would die if I worked in a hospital. Okay, well, good to know about yourself. Don't work in a hospital. Gotta get some ANC. Oh, active noise canceling headphones. Yeah, that really does help. I mean, people who work there can't have that, but you know. Last time I was in a hospital, I'm pretty sure they were using like Windows Vista. That's probably accurate. That's probably accurate. We always use old, well, because it's like for stability, right? Like, you don't want, it's like, if it works, don't stop using it. I think like, a lot of places still used paper charts until like not that long ago. Like, where everything was written in paper, like not on a computer. Yeah. I don't like when you have to have a nurse to use the bathroom because it's embarrassing. That's true. I mean, it's really hard, right? To have all these things that you're used to doing by yourself. Like, especially if you get sick and are hospitalized at like a younger age and it's like very sudden, right? Like, suddenly you go from like being very healthy and very independent to like, someone needs to help me go to the bathroom. Someone needs to clean up after me. Someone needs to feed me because I can't feed myself. Like, it just feels very not insulting, but it's like, it hurts your pride, right? I think it would hurt anyone's pride. So it's tough. But I think it's important to know that, like, at least your nurses and the techs and the people who work there, they've seen worse. 100% they've seen worse. Or like more embarrassing things. Might be laughing at your junk? No. I promise you they're not. I don't think they want to be doing it either. Like, no one is it's just is part of the job, you know? It's not like hospital IT is atrocious and doctors are very anti-tech for some reason. Hey, I'm not anti-tech. I'm not anti-tech. I'm very pro-technology, actually. I love technology. That's why I get to do this. Aha. Boom ba dum boom ba. Okay, any like last minute requests? I'm very happy with how this stream went, actually, guys. I had a really good time. Wait, you're a doctor? J Hawthorne 123. Thank you for the first time chat. Yes, I am a doctor. Wait, I need to do... This is so bad. This is such a failure of branding. Guys, this is such a failure of branding. No one knows I'm a doctor. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Let me guess. Psych. I mean, it's in the title, to be fair. I am a psychiatrist. Yes. Yeah. Maybe I should do more, like, psychiatrist reacts to whatever, even though it's really clickbaity, and I didn't want to do clickbaity things, but, like, I didn't know how else to describe this stream. Is it clickbaity? Is the title clickbaity? I'm afraid that it is, but also, like, whatever, you know? Maybe I should start all my streams like that, even when it doesn't make any sense. Psychiatrist does karaoke. Oh boy, can I ask you a question then? Oh, well, it depends on the question. I unfortunately have to leave soon, so I don't know if I have time to answer a serious question. I'm very wordy, as you can imagine. But you can always ask me a question. I may not be able to answer it or willing to answer it, but asking doesn't hurt anyone. Yeah, you can ask. Put a medical cross symbol on your desk. Bro, there's supposed to be like a medical cross around my neck, but then people think I'm Christian, which I'm not exactly. Requests on what? Oh, I don't know. Anything people wanted to ask or say before I have to leave. Or there's channel point redeems for things. Arby! Hi! Oh my gosh, you're right here at the end. I have a question. Can you fix my boob? Oh my god. Oh, poor baby. You have a little boo-boo. You have a little boo-boo. Did somebody hurt my baby? Oh. There you go. Get a caduceus tattoo or something? That could work. Okay. How do you deal with stress anxiety when on the front lines and don't know what to expect? That's hard. I mean, I think the thing is that it's normal to be stressed and anxious when you're in that kind of a situation. It's normal to be stressed and anxious in any situation where you don't know what to expect, let alone a situation where like physical harm is one of the things that could happen, you know? So I think like as much as you can, and this will just be my advice in general, is like focusing on the things that you can control and accepting the things that you can't control. Because I think the second part is also important, because a lot of times people focus on the things they can control and then like can't acknowledge the things that they can't, and ultimately it's scary, but like I think it's less helpful when you're in a anything could happen situation for someone to be like, everything will be okay, than to be like, yeah, anything could happen. I don't know. We don't know. But that's okay. You know? I don't know. Does that make sense? I don't think it's helpful to try to predict things that you can't predict, because that just makes you more anxious, because you know that you can't predict that shit. Like your body knows what you can or can't predict. Anyways. I will try. I have GAD and PTSD, at least that's what my therapist said, but couldn't that also be considered CPTSD? Oh, that's a whole complicated thing. Complex PTSD. Complex PTSD is a difficult topic. So basically the concept of complex PTSD is like it's the kind of PTSD that happens not from like one trauma, but from like chronic instability and stuff. So it's not exactly like anxiety and PTSD together. And also some people don't think that it's real, or they don't really, you know, diagnose it. So it kind of depends. But you can look up complex PTSD and see if it like resonates with you. Well, the treatment is about the same. Let me bum, bum, ba, ba, bum. Okay, let's not get super intense about religious stuff. That's all. They both involve meds, correct? Yeah, the meds for anxiety and PTSD are the same. Or rather, first-line medications for anxiety and PTSD is usually an antidepressant, usually an SSRI. Literally, we get told we can go tonight, tomorrow, or to be ready. Yeah, so then I think the helpful thing would be, like, rather than... I think it's probably part of what makes it hard is, like, thinking too much about the future, you know? Like, anxiety is, like, worrying about the future, and depression is, like, worrying about the past, is how some people, like, simplify it. And so it can be helpful to try to practice, like, being in the moment, you know? Like, I may not know what's going to happen tomorrow or an hour from now, but I know what's going on, like, today, you know? Or, like, right now. Thank you! Thank you for following. Thank you again. Very nice to meet you. Of course! I'm always happy to give advice. I'm always happy to give my thoughts and perspectives. To be clear, this is not medical advice. This is not medical advice. This is not medical advice. I'm not your doctor. I'm just a doctor. I'm not your doctor. I'm just a doctor. This is just what I think. This is just me as a person talking about things. I'm not your doctor. But, so I'm not going to make any medication recommendations. Certainly not. But I do think that, like, this is helpful for me as someone who's, like, very anxious, is, like, learning to be in the moment, you know? Of, like, man, this ice cream is really good. And I'm not thinking about tomorrow or this test or my boss or job hunting or whatever, you know? Need a disclaimer for quick access. Actually, that's a good point. I should probably do that. I need to put that on my to-do list. Oof. Even if that moment is Monday, yes. You're someone that has a bit more knowledge on things than other people. I mean, I guess I have a hopefully helpful perspective, is what I would say. Just asked. Going through a lot of them, I found one that works. Effexor to be exact. Yeah, Effexor would be one of the medications I would expect. That makes sense. Love living in the moment. Yeah, living in the moment's great. You have to live in the moment, especially as a streamer. I live in the moment. I'll read a chat and respond to it, and then read it again and respond to it again because I forgot that I read it because I'm so living in the moment. Hello, Lev. Hi, Sujo. Coming in from X, formerly known as Twitter. Thank you, thank you. I have to bounce for now. I'll tell you what I do for a living sometime. Okay, sounds cool. My next stream is tomorrow, where I will sing, hopefully, if my throat goes. What's your thoughts on CBD as a therapy? I do not have thoughts about it. I actually genuinely don't know enough about it to be able to have, like, a informed opinion. Glad to hear you found something that works. More sing, big sis. I will big sing. More sing, big sing? Eh? I will be here tomorrow then. Yay! I'm actually pretty proud of my singing. You can, like, look at my TikTok. I posted some singing stuff there recently. I think I might sing Epic again. There are other ways of persuasion. There are other modes of control. There are other means of deceit. Other roads to the soul. Ever since you told me Big Dairy, I put big in front of everything. Big Lev versus Big Dairy with the power of Big Sing and Big Milk. Okay, alright, I do actually need to go. I have a meeting to go to. I'm just a salesman who does a lot of side quests. Honestly, vibes. Live your life, you know? Alright. You know, I probably shouldn't be telling you this. But I forgot to bring water. And then I was going to bring water. And then I didn't. And then I got so excited about talking with you guys that I just continued to not get up and get water. And now I'm tired. I'm thirsty. Oh, that's why you weren't hydrating. Yeah. Well, it's a hydration reminder, right? You did remind me, and then I ignored it. Alright. Oh, let's go see my fellow psychologist. I'm not a psychologist. She's a psychologist. She's a scientist PhD. It's her birthday. Oh, anniversary stream. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna raid. Wait, let me just make sure. I don't know if anyone that is someone from my streaming group streaming right now? Oh, never mind. Peachy's streaming. Never mind. Peachy is streaming. Let's raid Peachy. She's playing modded Stardew. Oh my gosh, I need to play Stardew Valley again soon. Do what she says, not what she says. Exactly, don't do as I say. Doctors are terrible patients. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me about most things. Except for being normal. Please be normal. Forgot, just because you know it's good for you as a doctor doesn't mean you'll do it to yourself. That's true. Exactly. I give lots of advice that I don't take. Oh, did I show up right at the end? Yeah, I'm raiding out. I'm sorry, Odire. I'm sorry. I hope you're having a good day, though. My wife. My wife. I'm like gonna be late for a meeting. Oh well, it's okay. Oh shit, I need to send a link for the meeting to the other person who's meeting with me. We're meeting about fun projects for the future. Exciting. It's an exciting time, guys. Oh my gosh, my DMs, my friends are just full of me being like, look at all these things that I can't show anyone, but I want to show you so you guys get to see it. So benefits of being a moot is that I will bombard you with previews of things that I'm doing. Oh, and I'll put it in the sub chat, by the way. Why haven't I been shown anything? Cries? Because I don't know if you would want to see it. I'm like very self-conscious. I'm like, I don't know if you want to see it. If you want to see it, I'll show you. I have lots of things to show you. But I will put like previews in the subscriber chat in Discord. Of course, I want to see everything you do. You are friend. Oh, you make me cry. Wait, Winter, hi! Thank you for subscribing. Oh my gosh, bro. Hi. Wow, you're gonna keep up the streak, huh? I think you were my first subscriber. No, I say this every time. You're like my first subscriber that wasn't my manager. Thank you again. Aw, thank you for 3 months. Wah. Okay. I need to... Oh, you booped me. Okay, thank you. Thank you for booping me. We still gotta plan our collab. Oh yeah, whoops. We do. I have so many collabs I need to plan. Ow! Alright, now I'm actually gonna be so late for my meeting. Oops. Alright, we are starting raid. Okay. I remembered. Raid message. Woo. 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 Yeah, and also you can do whatever you want with the raid message. But yes, bye guys. I love you all very much, even though that's very parasocial, but you know, we're humans and humans are social animals. Thank you so much for being here. I had such a fun time today. Oh my gosh, I was planning on finishing sooner than this, but you kidnapped me and kept me here against my will. All right, bye guys. Bye. Bye.